While in a separate development, the Tabligh sect engineering the old Kampala Tabligh sect called for a binding document on resolutions reached. This was raised during joint Jummah prayers at Nakasero Mosque ahead of the strategy to reaffirming the earlier discussions of uniting Muslims. This, however, seemed to be in response to what the Kibuli faction Supreme Mufti Sheikh Zubaidi Sowedi Kayongo said when he challenged the Tablighs to show cause for unity and also have a binding document that will state what they agreed on.
The crowds at Nakasero Mosque were eagerly waiting to hear from the Mufti Sheikh Shaban Mubaje, who attended joint prayers aimed at forging unity among Muslims. The Jummah prayers rotated on unity, and there was calm among the Muslim community in attendance. The Secretary General of the Jamaat Dawat Arasafia, Sheikh Ayubu Nyende, asked the delegation of Old Kampala, led by the Mufti Sheikh Shaban Mubaje, to expeditiously work on a working document to include what they agreed on. These include efforts of unifying Muslims, bids to recover Muslim property, including Umar House. In a related development, the Kibuli faction, Supreme Mufti Sheikh Zubaidi Sowedi Kayongo, has reiterated his stand regarding the Tabligh Mubaje unit. Supreme Mufti, who was in a Shakul Dua at Nawango, Tambala, says the Tablighs need to show cause for the unity and have a binding document that will state what they agreed on in their unity bid. He says matter of agreement need to be put on paper and not just words as it is done.
Kino kyatadeko omukono kyetukkiriziganyizaako era tunatambulanga bwe tuti era omuntu anayisanga bw'ati ajja kubeeranga bw'ati naye kakati bintu byonna birina biringanga bya bisaago.
West Buganda Regional Kadi expressed dismay on the conduct of most believers in Butambala, which he describes as un-Islamic.
Omwana w'Obusiraamu ng'asika embizzi mu maka mw'ava agitwala ku ttale naawe oyinza okwewuunya n'osanga omuntu n'ogamba ono Musiraamu oba si Musiraamu. Erinnya lya Ahmada naye byakola bya Yakobo.
The Supreme Mufti then led prayers at Bulo Parent School, where he challenged teachers to work closely towards transforming morals in the young generation.
Zaliddwanga mutendeke oyo gwe weewuunya n'okusingawo n'asobola okubbulukukayo obwo bwonna kiva mu kuyigirizibwa kwemufuuke ekyo kye basuubira nabo okwenyumiririzaamu mu kiseera ky'ebiseera byammwe bwe mulibanga Katonda basobozesezza okumanya.
Elsewhere, the central bank chose to take a back seat regarding the Swiss bank revelations of 250 billion shillings linked to Ugandans, saying Uganda is a free economy and they cannot track all the money that comes in and goes out of it. Bank of Uganda Governor Professor Emmanuel Mutebide, while speaking to the press, said Uganda is a free economy where people can do whatever they want with their money. 57 people with links in Uganda are among 100,000 clients of a giant Swiss bank whose account details were recently leaked to French authorities and subsequently released to selected media houses in what has been dubbed the biggest leak of bank files in history.
This country opened the international transfer market. I don't think that is the problem itself. The fact that we cannot influence transfers except through the market. And this is not a this opening of foreign markets has been a tremendous influence on the rise in foreign investment in the country and improvements in our perception for investors. I don't know whether I should say this, but except for those who are publishing tomorrow, everybody else must keep quiet for today. I'm expecting to receive from London today an announcement increasing our medium-term outlook rating from B to B+, stable. That is partly a reflection of the way in which our economy is operating. That it's freely open market prices, free flow of goods and exchange, foreign exchange, and the competence with which the economy is being governed, both by the government, of course, and the Bank of Uganda. So I don't know how many Ugandans have sent their money to Swiss banks. I'm certainly not one of them, and I certainly will not transfer any money outside the country. If I had the money, I would invest it here.
This is Week in Focus on WBS TV. Please stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to This Week in Focus. The selection of Senior 5 students kicked off with cut-off points raised by most traditional schools, a trend head teachers attributed to the good performance during the recently released Senior 4 examination results. Head teachers were asked to implement the HIV work policy to improve the welfare of teachers and students living with HIV.
The selection exercise began at about 9 a.m. at Kampala International University, but the Minister for Education and Sports, Jessica Lupo, was not sure as she was reportedly in Chankwanzi for the NRM caucus retreat. Several schools have raised the bar for cut-off points, especially traditional and private schools. Cut-off points for boys in King's College Budo is 8 aggregates, with girls at 13, Namagonga 13, Ntale School 15, Ndeje Senior Secondary 17, Namiryango 14, among others.
We cut off at 10, and the girls, we've taken a few 13s. So anybody outside that range should have very low hopes. Even girls with 13, I'm not sure we've taken all of them in 8 years.
We only take 60. So among the 143, the best of them were within 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So from that list, we've got enough to cut them off at 13. Yes, but the other girls did very well, and we are selling them to good schools, good top schools.
It is 17 for boys and 18 for girls.
It's stiff, so we have very many students who want to come there. So that's the reason. And 2, the performance is very good. So those are some of the reasons why we are hiking the points.
But technical schools and primary teachers' colleges, PTCs, have lowered the marks, setting 47 as their cut-off point. On whether this will not compromise the quality of teachers, officials from the Ministry of Education were quick to justify the reduction of the cut-off points.
You are looking at the total number of applicants. And as of now, you know, the majority of applicants are applying to move on. So automatically the A levels, we will get people with the higher scores.
Most schools have also hiked school dues, the highest being up to 1.2 million shillings for King's College Budo, Gayaza High School, among others. Government has directed head teachers to start implementing the HIV work policy to support teachers and students living with HIV. The policy requires head teachers to provide antiretroviral drugs and counseling to victims. Selection ends this Friday and the ministry has set March 17th as the opening date for Senior 5 students. Stella Navakoza, WBS TV, Kampala.
Now, the selection exercise for Senior 5 students ended with several students without placement. This because most schools raised their cut-off points due to the good performance registered in the 2014 Uganda Certificate of Education results. We were at the selection center at Kampala International University, and this is what head teachers had to say about the exercise.
Geography fieldwork. For quite some time, I had been studying the trends in geography, especially for those traveling to such places for the first time. There is development on landing sites on Lake Victoria, Kasen, and Kibimba, and also a pest surgeon of Red, which is a very big advantage.
Our school fees is very low because the government adds on something. Not only those who have admitted are the ones who absorb. We also absorb those who have been dropped out or who have been neglected from other schools. And when you come to our site, you realize that the total intake is a bit higher. We can even register about 100 students. So some are self-sponsored, they are self-sponsored. They sponsor themselves.
The Uganda National Examination Board rectified mistakes that were committed in the marking of technical drawing national exams for O-level students and awarding of results. The Secretary of UNEB, Matthew Bukenya, revealed that the rectification of the errors was after the recall of all the results, in which UNEB examiners had awarded all students who sat for technical drawing past 6 and following complaints from head teachers across the country about the performance.
A red flag raised by head teachers of secondary schools across the country about the poor performance of last year's technical drawing national examinations for O-level. UNEB recalled all results to cross-examine what ought to have gone wrong during the marking process. UNEB examiners had awarded all students who started technical drawing in the country past 6, something that was unbelievable and suspicious. After 1 week of cross-examining the technical errors that were involved during the marking of the paper, experts at UNEB established that many schools never followed the procedures given by UNEB, a fact that made it difficult for the computerization of the technical drawing results at UNEB.
Now, in this particular case where the error was, instead of adding paper 1 and only paper 2, or to get the total of 2, the addition was for 3. So the candidates have got marks for 2 papers, but the total now that has been entered for grading purposes is of 3. So if you are dividing X by 3, you'll get less than if you divided that same X by 2.
There was an error. We admit it was there, and we have corrected it. And to meet my recollection, it is the first time, I think, in TD. Saying that we are not going to repeat it, you cannot guarantee that. It may come again, but may even come in another paper. We are human beings and we are liable to make these errors. But the most important, have you corrected that error?
In spite of this rectification, Bukenya says that media reports exaggerated the matter. However, the board regrets the inconveniences caused to students who started the technical drawing paper last year.
Now this error, when it came, as we have been telling you, we rectified it there and then. That's why even the schools, those centers having the Chibulis or the Chamber College School, who went to the TV to say that you never has changed the marks, and these were not even changing marks at all. I think you report this clearly. There was no change of marks.
Last year, 2,498 candidates across the country sat for technical drawing. UNEB has 165 centers for technical drawing, and the paper grading did not change. Bukenya also appealed to students who sat the papers to stay calm, since UNEB had not printed any result slips. However, to avoid such mistakes from reoccurring again, Bukenya says UNEB will resort to setting 2 papers for technical drawing. One will always be on standby as backup should there be any error observed in the first one.